Tamar Braxton and Mendeecees Harris, as in Yandy Smith's husband? The man who has been on reality TV pretending to be the reformed family man for the last decade? You probably thought this was a typo or maybe a glitch in the algorithm, but at exactly 10 a.m. last Tuesday, a text message sent to a well-known industry insider changed everything we thought we knew about two of the biggest reality TV dynasties in history. Most people believe the official story that Tamar Braxton's recent physical injury, the one where she was reportedly found in a pool of blood, was a random act of violence or a clumsy accident. The blogs are telling you she slipped or she was attacked by a stranger, but the timeline I'm about to show you proves that is a lie. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why Mendeecees was allegedly spotted leaving the V12 Lounge with Tamar at 1 in the morning, why Yandy Smith has been unusually quiet on social media, and the specific six-figure financial motive that forced this secret relationship into the light. We are going to answer 3 questions that nobody in Hollywood wants to touch. First, what actually happened inside Tamar's house the night of the incident? Second, why did Mendeecees suddenly stop wearing his wedding ring 3 months ago? And third, is the music video excuse actually a cover-up for a physical altercation that went too far? Let's look at the first receipt, which appeared on social media less than 24 hours after the news broke. It is a time-stamped log from Funky Deneva, a commentator who was physically present with Tamar and Mendeecees on the night in question. According to his account, which has not been legally refuted by either camp, the night did not end at the club. To understand why this matters, we have to go back to the beginning of the night. It is Saturday. The location is the V12 Lounge in Atlanta. Witnesses, including staff members who later spoke to blogs under anonymity, confirmed that Tamar Braxton arrived with a small entourage. But she wasn't waiting for her fiancé, Jeremy Robinson. She was waiting for Mendeecees Harris. Now, seeing them together isn't inherently suspicious. They're both reality stars. They both work in the same circles. But according to multiple onlookers, the body language was not professional. This wasn't a business meeting about a cameo appearance. Sources claim they were hugged up in the VIP section, laughing, touching, and behaving like a couple on a date. This is the first crack in the happy marriage facade Mendeecees has been selling on Love and Hip Hop for years. We know that for the last 2 seasons, his storyline has revolved around his frustration with Yandy. He has complained about her prioritizing her business over him. He has complained about feeling emasculated. And remember the scene where he told Yandy he wouldn't have waited for her if she was the one in prison? That was not a scripted moment. That was a glimpse into a resentment that has been building for 5 years. When a man feels undervalued at home, he seeks validation elsewhere. And on this specific Saturday night, that validation allegedly came in the form of Tamar Braxton. But the real shock happens when they leave the club. This is the part of the timeline that the crisis management teams are trying to scrub from the internet. They didn't go their separate ways. According to the timeline established by the leaked text messages, the group, including Mendeecees, went back to Tamar's residence for an after-party. This brings us to the most disturbing part of the story, and the reason why the phrase pool of blood is trending. The next morning, at 10 a.m., Tamar Braxton sends a text message asking for the contact information for Dr. Heavenly, a dentist and doctor known for handling emergency cosmetic situations. Why would Tamar need a dentist on a Sunday morning? Why was the situation so dire that she bypassed 911 and went straight to a personal connection? The rumor mill suggests an altercation took place, and this is where the expectation versus reality hits hard. The expectation is that Tamar fell or had a household accident. The reality, according to deep dive forum theories and insider leaks, is that Yandy Smith may have found out. Now, I want to be very clear here. There is no police report naming Yandy Smith as an aggressor. However, the street talk is loud. The theory is that word got back to Yandy that her husband was at Tamar's house at 3 in the morning. In the world of Atlanta reality TV, respect is the only currency that matters. If Yandy felt publicly humiliated by Mendeecees parading around town with another high-profile celebrity, the response would need to be swift. Let's talk about the money. Why would Mendeecees risk his marriage, his brand, and his freedom for a fling with Tamar? Follow the money. Mendeecees has struggled to establish an independent income stream since his release. Yandy is the breadwinner. She owns the skincare line, she owns the restaurants, she manages the foster care advocacy. Mendeecees is, for all intents and purposes, an employee of the Yandy Smith brand. This dynamic kills relationships. We saw it with Nene and Greg Leaks. We saw it with Cynthia Biley and Peter Thomas. When the wife holds the checkbook, the husband builds resentment. Enter Tamar Braxton. Tamar is vulnerable right now. She is coming off a chaotic breakup and makeup cycle with JR. She is looking for a protector, a street dude with a polished edge. Mendeecees fits that archetype perfectly. But more importantly, a relationship or even a rumored affair with Tamar gives Mendeecees something he hasn't had in years: leverage. It makes him the main character. It gets him headlines that don't include the words Yandy's husband. But let's look at the cost. The fallout from this weekend has been catastrophic. Reports state that Tamar was found injured by a friend. If this was a physical altercation resulting from a love triangle, the legal implications are massive. We are talking about potential assault charges, lawsuits, and the end of the Love and Hip Hop franchise as we know it. This is why the PR machine kicked into overdrive on Monday morning. Suddenly, a new narrative appeared. Have you noticed the sudden pivot? Sources close to Mendeecees started leaking the story that he was merely starring in Tamar's upcoming music video. They claim the cozy behavior at the club was method acting. They claim the late-night visit to her house was a production meeting or a rehearsal. This is the oldest trick in the celebrity playbook. When you get caught cheating, call it a collaboration. When you get caught fighting, call it a scene. But here is why that excuse falls apart. If this was a music video, where are the cameras? Where are the crew? A music video production involves makeup artists, lighting grips, directors, and craft services. You do not shoot a high-budget music video at 3 a.m. in a private residence with no call sheet. Furthermore, if Mendeecees was just a co-star, why did he not post about it? Usually, when reality stars collaborate, they cross-promote. They tease the project. Mendeecees' Instagram has been dark. Yandy's Instagram has been focused on her children and her business, with a noticeable absence of her husband. The silence is the loudest admission of guilt we have. Let's dig deeper into the Yandy angle. Yandy Smith is calculated. She is not the type to throw hands in a club like a rookie. If she wanted to send a message, she would do it strategically. There is a concept in PR called the proxy war. You don't get your hands dirty, you let the streets handle it. The speculation that Yandy sent goons or had someone touch Tamar is extreme, but in the context of their history, it is not impossible to imagine a confrontation getting out of hand. Remember, Yandy and Tamar have had friction before. They are both alphas. They both demand to be the queen bee. If Tamar crossed the line by inviting Mendeecees into her home, Yandy would view that as a declaration of war. And what about Jeremy Robinson, Tamar's on-again, off-again fiancé? Where is he in all of this? He is a lawyer. If his fiancée was attacked, or if she was cheating on him, his reaction would be legal and swift. The fact that JR has distanced himself from this specific incident suggests he knows the truth. He knows this wasn't a random robbery. He knows this was a mess of Tamar's own making. Now, let's look at the pool of blood detail again. This phrase was leaked specifically to garner sympathy and shift the narrative away from the cheating allegations. It turns Tamar from the other woman into the victim. It's a classic deflection tactic. By focusing on her injury, her team hopes you will forget to ask why she was with a married man in the first place. It's the look over here strategy, and it worked for about 48 hours. But the internet is undefeated. The timestamps on the texts, the sightings at V12, and the lack of a police report for a robbery all point to a domestic dispute or a confrontation between romantic rivals. Let's go back to the receipt at the 10-minute mark I promised. The audio recording circulating from the night at V12 captures a voice that sounds distinctly like Mendeecees telling the VIP security to back off and let her breathe. This protective, possessive behavior is not what you do for a coworker. This is what you do for a woman you are involved with. It mirrors the way he used to move with Yandy back in the early seasons of Love and Hip Hop New York. He is repeating the cycle. We also need to discuss the financial fallout for Yandy. If Mendeecees is cheating and if it leads to a divorce, the forensic accounting will be a nightmare. Yandy has built an empire while Mendeecees was away. Does he have a claim to it? Did they sign a post-nuptial agreement? Rumors have circulated for years that their marriage was never legally formalized to protect Yandy's assets from Mendeecees' legal restitution debts. If they are not legally married, Mendeecees walks away with nothing. This creates a desperate man,
And a desperate man clings to the next available lifeline. Right now, that lifeline is Tamar Braxton. Tamar has the house, the fame, and the chaotic energy that matches Mendeecees' need for drama. But she is also high maintenance. Mendeecees is used to Yandy, who is a manager, a fixer, a woman who handles business. Tamar is the talent. She needs to be handled. This is a mismatch from hell. Mendeecees does not have the patience or the emotional intelligence to manage Tamar's emotions. We saw how quickly he checked out on Yandy when she got emotional. Imagine him dealing with Tamar's highs and lows. So, where does this leave us? We have a woman injured and claiming victimhood. We have a husband caught on a date with a woman who isn't his wife. We have a wife who is moving in silence, likely plotting her next chess move. And we have a public that is being fed a lie about a music video. The reality is that this wasn't a professional meeting. It was a date that went wrong. The pool of blood was likely the result of a confrontation that escalated, potentially involving third parties loyal to Yandy, or perhaps a drunken accident that occurred during the chaos of the night. The marriage problems between Tamar and Mendeecees are actually the marriage problems of Yandy and Mendeecees spilling over into Tamar's life. Tamar thought she was getting a new man. Instead, she got caught in the crossfire of a decade-long toxic dynamic. Why does this matter to you? Because it exposes the dark engine of reality TV. These people are not just characters. They are real people making dangerous decisions for clout and validation. Mendeecees risked his family for a night of feeling important. Tamar risked her safety for a storyline. And Yandy is left cleaning up the mess again. As we watch the next few weeks unfold, pay attention to the lawsuits. If Tamar sues Yandy or Mendeecees, we know it was an attack. If she stays silent and lets the music video story ride, we know she is guilty of the affair and wants to bury it. Watch the legal filings, not the Instagram captions. The most shocking part of this entire saga isn't the cheating. We are used to that. It is the violence. It is the fact that in 2025, multi-millionaires are still resolving their disputes like they are in the streets. It proves that money doesn't buy peace, and it certainly doesn't buy common sense. In the next video, I'm going to break down the audio recording from the V12 Lounge frame by frame to show you exactly who else was in that section with them. You won't believe which other Love and Hip Hop cast member was sitting right there, watching the whole thing go down.